Welcome to Spill the Milk, where we talk all things breastfeeding and we do real talk. Real talk, okay? My name's Nicki. I'm a registered nurse. More importantly, I'm a board certified lactation consultant, and I've been helping mommies and babies breastfeed for over 20 years. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, and I've learned a lot. And I'm here to pass that real stuff on to you to get you to a place of less anxiety. And today, episode 2, season 1, we are going to talk about the different types of supply. You all know there are 3 different types of supply, but in my practice, I see the 4th type of supply exponentially more than I see the others, okay? So the first type is low supply. Second type, you're a right amounter. You're making the perfect amount. The third, oversupply, whether that's induced or natural. And then the fourth one, the one I see a lot of, is perceived low supply, where you actually just don't have low supply, but you're seeing something confusing. And so you're just saying you have low supply because you're not educated and you're not supported. And that's why I'm here. So we're going to change this today, and we're going to give you a lot. I'm going to give you a lot of education. So low supply, this one we're going to spend a lot of time on because a lot of you think you have low supply, but there are some definite significant differences in true low supply versus the perceived one. So causes of low supply. So you want, this is it. You want to make sure you don't have low supply? Don't do these things. Here they are. A big cause of low supply is supplementation. Supplementation without pumping, which means instead of breastfeeding, you're giving a bottle of formula or maybe a bottle of pumped milk, and you're not removing milk at that same time. You're not. That's going to cause your body to think it doesn't need that much milk. So if you are feeding your baby outside of your body, even if it's a top off, you've got to pump. You got to pump. So formula as well. This is a really important one to know. Formula, because it sits in the gut for twice the amount of time as breast milk, supplementation, right? Formula, you're going to do less breastfeeding sessions just because of the digestibility of the formula compared to the breast milk. So breast milk is very quickly digested in about an hour, whereas formula, it's about 2 hours. So if we're doing formula, you're going to delay the next breastfeeding session. That's going to cause you low supply. Nipple confusion. This is a big one for me. This is why I tell mamas, please wait until at or around 4 weeks before you start adding different things for your baby to be good at. Get good at the one thing that brings you milk the best, and that is baby to breast. Baby to breast. Pacifier use is okay with me. I'm fine with pacifier use as long as we have mastered the fine art of feeding our baby on demand, and that we're not guessing that baby just wants to suckle and putting a pacifier in there. And then the baby's going to town on that pacifier, burning calories before they get to breast. Then they don't have the energy to remove the milk that they need to remove. And that's going to lead, again, to low supply. Watch the pacifier use. Once 4 weeks hits, go ahead, use that pacifier. Okay, this one's big. Not feeding on demand, but instead feeding by a schedule. Babies, breast milk fed babies are meant to cluster feed. Why? Breast milk is used and digested in about an hour. So cluster feeding and allowing cluster feeding to happen is going to increase your supply. But scheduling feedings is definitely going to cause a decrease in your output because supply is based on demand. And if you're not letting your baby show you and demand from you the amount of milk they need, and you're the one controlling it, you're not going to get a good result from your supply. Feeding on demand looks like cluster feeding, sometimes hourly feeding, sometimes not, but it is necessary. Feed on demand, and demand is those early signs of hunger, making sure you're getting baby before they start crying, putting them to breast so they don't have to do extra work to get to breast, to remove milk, and then they're too tired because they had to do a whole bunch of crying. All those things can cause low supply. What are the signs? What are some common signs I see? Decreased diaper output. Decreased diaper output is a big one. Day 1, 1 wet, 1 poopy. Day 2, 2 wet, 2 poopy. Day 3, 3 wet, 3 poopy. Once we get to day 5, 6, 7, we're expecting 6 to 8 wet, 3 to 4 poopy. But if you see a decrease, this could mean low supply. This also could just mean you need to feed your baby more. Lack of weight gain, same thing. Lack of weight gain could be an indication of low supply. We can fix it very quickly by feeding our baby more frequently, not more quantity, more frequently. The other one is when a baby has closed fists the whole time they're nursing. They're just closed up and they're tight and they're popping on and on, they're popping off and they're doing all the things and they're grunting and they're just not satisfied and they're never satisfied and they're always closed. Those 3 stages that I talk about of a breastfeeding session need to happen. And if you're not getting past closed fist stage and like the baby's really frustrated and irritable, this could mean that you have low supply. But what you need to understand is all of these things can be remedied. Low supply can be remedied. Extending times between breastfeeding sessions, not feeding on demand, can cause low supply as well. Now, here you go. Here's some tricks. Things that moms think are signs of low supply, but they're not. Softening of your breast. That's just regulation, and that's normal. Babies sucking their hands. After you've watched those 3 phases of a breastfeeding session go on and they went and fell to sleep after they were ravenously eating, they're just learning their hands. Those are called happy hands. Frequent feedings. That's not a sign of low supply. Do you know what it's a sign of? Frequent feedings is a sign that your baby has the energy to go to breast and remove milk frequently. That's a good sign. Lots of moms don't understand that. And then the one is, which is one of my favorites, is that your baby will take a bottle after a breastfeeding session. Yes, I'm sure they will. Bottles drip milk. Bottles drip milk. That doesn't mean they're necessarily hungry. Did you go through the 3 phases? I'm going to make a video for you guys that show you what those 3 phases of eating are. And I think I already have some of them posted in different social media platforms. But the 3 phases of eating, real quick, what they look like. Baby goes to breast, there's ravenous, noisy eating. Lots of it, repetitious, quick, go, 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 go. Second phase, they start entering the am I full phase, which is them slowing down, taking some longer breaks in between times, not doing as many repetitious suck, swallow, breathes, right? Slowing way down. And then the third phase is little to no suck, swallow, breathes, lots more quiver suckling, sleeping on the breast, heavy hands, open hands, relaxed state. Your baby has to go through all 3 of those phases. That's a full feed. That's a full feed. Okay? All right. So we got through that one. That was a lot. Now let's talk about right amounter. You guys call it just enougher, and I don't like that. That's not my favorite. It doesn't sound very nice. You're a right amounter. Some causes? Causes of right amounters? You're feeding on demand. You're pumping. If you're a pumping mom, you're pumping 2 to 4 ounces total combined to replace a feed. What is replacing a feed? That means it's been 90 minutes or more since the last removal of milk. You're a right amounter. Stop watching those oversuppliers. Start understanding you want to be a right amounter. All the things. Your baby's gaining weight. Wet and poopy diapers are there. There is some softening of your breast, and that's normal. Regulation is normal. Okay? Regulation is normal. If you are in oversupply mode, you're not going to soften very often, but we want you to. Softening of the breast is part of regulation. And where this gets confusing is when moms first get milk, they get milk and they can feel it and they know it and it feels heavy. So you think, listen, and I would too, well, this must be what it's like to have milk. No, this is what it's like to get milk, not keep it. Regulation is vital. Feeding on demand is vital. This feeding on demand will also lead to frequent feeds. Frequent feeds are good. That means you're a right amounter. Your baby is gaining properly and has the energy to go to breast, remove milk effectively and efficiently, go through the 3 stages, and you're done. You're a right amounter. Other things people think, geez, you're not leaking. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. You don't feel your letdowns. That doesn't mean anything. Not everybody is the same and not everybody has the same symptoms. But when you're a right amounter, your baby is gaining 5 to 8 ounces per week for the first 4 months of life. Months 4 through 6, they're gaining about 3 ounces per week. Months 6 through 12, they're gaining about 1.5 ounces, maybe a little less per week. You're a right amounter. Wet and poopy diapers are there. You've got a baby who is satiated. You have a baby who, yes, may be cluster feeding, but then follows that with longer breaks and longer amounts of time. You're a right amounter. Stop calling yourself a just enougher. Stop doing that. Do you have more than what your baby takes? Yes, but it's not crazy like this next one, which is oversupply. Oversupply is very dangerous, and I think we really don't talk about it enough. It's glorified all over social media. It's glorified like you're some sort of gold medal winner. Listen, that is not true. Being in oversupply mode, you are going to have some signs and symptoms, clogged ducts and mastitis. The causes can be just natural causes, especially in those first few weeks. You guys, your prolactin levels are sky high. You're going to be a natural oversupplier. Some of you just are a natural oversupplier, because your breasts have bigger holding capacity. That's just part of it. But when we are also causing it ourselves, that's a little different. This is induced or removing more breast milk than what your baby is taking from you or what your baby takes from a bottle. This induced oversupply is causing more issues and more concerns from moms than what we are giving it credit for. Causing an oversupply by removing more than what your baby needs, you are at the highest increased risk of mastitis and clogged ducts, which then can decrease your supply some. So we don't want you to stay in that oversupply mode. Natural oversuppliers, I can help you. Add some ice after feeds. That will help. Ice those breasts after a feed. That's going to help with that. Stop removing. You can feel full, but you don't need to remove. If the need for removal is driving your mind to go, okay, I can't take this any longer. I can't, then do this one thing. Move some milk out. Don't full on pump. Move some milk out. An ounce. Just move some milk to just soften a little bit. All right, here's the signs that you have oversupply. Your baby will choke during a feed, gulp during a feed. They will definitely sometimes pull off and become very irritable when you're having that letdown because it's just a lot. When you have a letdown, you turn on a fire hose, not a garden hose. And little babies have a hard time handling that. So that will then shorten feeds. And then we worry about a little bit about the hind milk foremilk imbalance. Now, listen, it's not that huge of a deal. But what you need to understand is, especially if you are an oversupplier, we need to be feeding on one breast at a time, one breast per feed. That's going to give the baby a chance to get to stage 2 and 3 of the feeding phases that I talk about. Because a lot of moms who have oversupply, their babies hit stage 1, that ravenous eating, and then they rarely make it much into phase 2 of my full. Can I just sit here and remove some? And they pull off. So you're going to get a lot of spit up. Okay. You're going to get a lot of spit up. And sometimes those babies are just a little extra cranky. So those are some of the signs of that. But definitely, biggest sign, constant engorgement, never regulating. Constant fullness, never regulating. We want to avoid that because we want to keep you safe in your journey. And it's so important. Okay, now we're going to talk about the one I diagnose the most. Perceived oversupply. The cause of it is anxiety and comparing yourselves to others, not being supported, not having good education, and doom scrolling oversuppliers on social media. That's going to cause it. In my practice, I've seen this so much, and it just breaks my heart because these moms think they have low supply and they're doing all these things to, quote, fix it. And then now they're in oversupply mode and they're still worried. Stop comparing yourselves to others. And if you are comparing yourselves to others, ask yourself, is that the place I want to be? So signs of perceived low supply, this mom is anxious. This mom is anxious. She's escalated. She's elevated. Her baby has adequate wet and poopy diapers. Her baby is going to breast frequently to eat. Her baby is going through all 3 phases of eating. Her baby is having great weight gain. All the things are there, but there's an outlier that's ringing around in her brain telling her it's still not enough. It's still not enough. She can see it. She knows it, but there's something out there yelling at her. It's social media. Stop it. Find support. Take a deep breath. Prove yourself wrong. Prove yourself wrong. Prove to yourself that you're actually making the right amount, that you're actually doing it, because you are. You are. But this perceived low supply, these moms are so full of anxiety and they're just in disbelief that they're actually making enough milk for their baby, even though they're exclusively breastfeeding and or exclusively pumping or doing a little bit of both. Their baby's gaining, wet and poopy diapers are there. Those outliers that come into play, guess what they are? Social media is a big one. The second one, growth charts. The growth charts make you doubt your baby and what you've been doing. Those growth charts, I have proven them wrong time and time again. What do you go back to? I want you to go back to the standard amount of weight gain your baby should gain every week, just like we talked about. 0 to 4 months, 5 to 8 ounces per week. 4 to 6 months, 3 ounces per week. 6 to 12 months, 1.5, little less per week. That's it. Wet and poopy diapers are there. You have a happy baby. Baby's developmentally doing what they're supposed to be doing. They may be taking longer gaps of time in between feeds, but that's because they can, because they have the energy, because they're gaining weight to return to breast when they're hungry. You've got to develop that trust system. So these are the 4 different types of supply. And listen, I get it. This is so anxiety provoking. You're out there just swimming in that dark, dark place by yourself. You're not alone. Join me and all the moms in my communities, whether you're seeing me on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're finding me, join my Patreon community, you guys. My Patreon community is where I'm going to be able to connect with you at the very highest level to get you what you need. I hope you have found this helpful. Remember, I do virtual consultations. You can find them on my websites and in plenty of links outside of here. But I want to tell you, any amount counts. We can always work together to make this better for you. And you are just doing amazing. Hope this helps. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. We have more things planned for you. Thanks for enjoying Spill the Milk.